Hi, everyone. So for my grading policy, I decided to really go for that prime elementary age of like fourth grade through sixth grade. Not exactly sure what grade I really want to go into at this point. That's kind of the area I'm thinking about. So I just kind of made it for that, and then of course I'll go back and tailor my policy. If it's a fourth grade instead of sixth, change that language up. So it's just kind of made for both of them with that kind of language. So I decided that instead of doing the traditional A, B, C, D, F, I would go with the like 4-3-2-1 policy instead, where 4 is advanced, 3 is proficient, 2 is developing, and 1 is beginner. I really feel like this policy supports children more, and they feel like, okay, I'm not quite there yet, but I really want to do so, like a 2, anything under a 2, you have to do a redo. And so children can say, okay, I didn't get it. What did I do wrong? What are my misconceptions? Where do I go from here? And then correct it and then learn from it. And that really goes to my main goal of the classroom, which is that students reach mastery of the learning objectives. So I don't want any student to fall through the graphs or the cracks, sorry. And I feel like that happens a lot in school, especially with homework. So I really liked how homework, the thought that homework is just seen as practice. I really like that. So I designed my policy for homework to not be graded. Everything else, my summative tests, assessments, projects, that kind of stuff, that is going to get the 4-3-2-1. Homework is not. Homework is just going to be practice. Students are going to be expected to do that, and I'll get into my policy for keeping that on track here in a minute. But it when you get your homework in there into your final grade, are they actually reaching mastery? How do you tell? So that's why I wanted to separate those and say, okay, this is the actual grade of that student. This is her mastery right here. She is this. Whereas homework, it's all muddled and you don't know what concepts they actually have and what concepts they don't. So that's why I kind of chose to do that. And I'll go into my rationale here in a minute too. Another piece of my homework is that students will self-grade their homework. So they will get their homework that of topics that we have learned in class. Each homework is going to be differentiated to that individual student. So in my write-up that I will include, it says, okay, your homework might be different than your peers, and that's okay because your struggles are different than your peers. You need different support than your peers. So they'll take their homework, they'll attempt it, attempting, not completing, they're different. They will attempt every problem. They will come back. They will self-grade. And then we can go into pairs or we can go into large groups and we can figure out, okay, what concepts do we not understand? What do we need to practice? And what do we grasp? And that is really the goal. So one of the not misconceptions, but the arguments that I can already see people making is that, okay, well, students, they're not going to do the homework. If it's not graded, what's the purpose? They're not going to actually do it. There's nothing holding them accountable to doing that homework. So I made a series of consequences. I realized that every student, life happens. So they're going to miss 1 or 2 assignments, and that's perfectly fine. But there's a lot of work that comes with missing an assignment. So 1 to 2, students need to write a paragraph saying, hey, this is why I missed, why I didn't complete the assignment. They'll have 2 extra days to complete the assignment, and then they are required to come in after school or before school and teach the teacher. So basically, I want them to come in. I want them to teach me those concepts to make sure that they understand it, that they didn't just cheat off their peers' homework just to get it done, that they really get those concepts and that we can move on from whatever we're learning, or we can get practice where need be. 3 assignments. There's going to be a teacher-student conference saying, hey, where's the problem? What's going on here? And then parents will be notified via call home. 4th assignment missing will be detention. And then 5th is family-teacher meeting. We'll discuss, okay, what's the problem? Why are we still having this problem? And then there will be more severe consequences for every homework assignment from there on missing. So hopefully they will realize that it's a lot more effort to miss assignments than it is just to get it done the first time. But with that being said, students will always have the opportunity to redo or to make up their homework. Absences will fall into the number one category, where of the 1 to 2 assignments missing, they will always be able to practice those concepts that we are learning in class. That's very essential to me. Let's see, what else did I miss? Feedback's really important. I plan on doing a lot of feedback. So, and that just jumps in right to my rationale. So why I wanted to do the self-grading was that I found this article that said students will learn a lot better when they grade their own work, because with the traditional where you complete the homework, you hand it in, the teacher grades, and then 3 days later you get that feedback, students don't even look at it. They don't go to the next step of, okay, I did this wrong, let me fix it. They say, I got it wrong, I'm a failure. So I really wanted them to self-grade and then to engage in that process of, okay, this is my first attempt, here's where I go from there. So that was my reasoning for that. Wormelli, or however you say his name, was where I got the idea of homework being not graded or not graded very heavily, and that it's just practice, that it is essentially practice. And then my interview teacher, Miss Kale, she said, I differentiate my homework, and it's not really saying, okay, each kid has a different homework assignment. It's kind of in groups, whereas these students are struggling with this, these students are struggling with this, my more advanced learners need a push in this area. And so everyone is feeling supported and are practicing things that they really need help with, or they really need practice with. So those are my 3 major rationales for designing my policy in the way I did. And then again, I will attach my policy to it so you can actually read what I wrote, and maybe it will make sense of all my rambling I just said. So thanks.